What should you do then? Marla Tejas went to find some answers.
When I say a toxic workplace, what does that mean to you?
I think ultimately you're creating an atmosphere that people don't want to be in.
Being verbally abusive, intimidation factor.
Joelle Jacobson is one of the lucky ones. She says the toxic work environment she was exposed to years ago as a publicist included a superior that thought he could intimidate her.
Well, why don't we go on this business trip together and then, we'll talk about that promotion. For me, it didn't end badly, but for the other women, it did.
It's a scenario that even in the Me Too movement continues to play out in many offices. But it's not just sexual harassment that turns work into an unhealthy place.
When someone feels that their opinion isn't valued, when someone feels that they are not really free to give input.
Dr. Jay Finkelman teaches business psychology at the Chicago School of Professional Psychology in downtown Los Angeles. He says all it takes is one person to wreak havoc.
A toxic employee has an extraordinary ability to do damage to a workplace, well beyond their immediate realm.
Dr. Finkelman has these telltale signs you're working with a toxic coworker. They exhibit narcissistic and obsessive-compulsive behaviors. They belittle others to make themselves feel better. They think they're perfect and are not open to constructive change. They attract other toxic employees to form a clique. He likens it to a bully.
The toxic employee himself or herself is less likely to be calling in sick a lot, but colleagues are more likely to be calling in sick because of the stress level imposed by having to deal with this on an ongoing basis.
Dr. Finkelman says the first thing you should do is let your supervisor know, assuming your supervisor isn't the problem. If you are dealing with a toxic boss, head straight to Human Resources. Have documentation to back up your claim and know you're not alone. In fact, Dr. Finkelman says there's been a recent rise in the reporting of toxic work incidents. Why do you think people are feeling emboldened to speak up for themselves right now?
My instinct is that the Me Too movement with respect to sexual harassment has helped.
Still, a Stanford survey shows 61% of employees said workplace stress has made them sick. 7% said they have actually been hospitalized as a result. Dr. Finkelman says it's up to managers to pay attention and employees to know when enough is enough.
Ultimately, smart employers recognize when it's time to go to a termination process. And for the outgroup member who feels apart and bullied, leaving is really the only solution.
Fortunately, Joelle didn't have to leave, thanks to her supportive boss who reacted to the toxicity and got rid of it.
So I was fortunate, but many people aren't.
Well, if you are in a toxic environment and you are considering going to Human Resources, Dr. Finkelman wants you to remember this. Filing a complaint is a protected activity. For more information on this topic, you can check out this website here, 4hourwellness.org, a wealth of resources for toxic workplaces.
So it's encouraging to hear. A lot of people feel intimidated or scared to go because they think they're going to get backlash.
Absolutely, and that's when personal attorneys get involved. That's the other thing. That's the ultimate recourse.
Because I'm sure some people feel like that toxic employee is out to get them and maybe going to Human Resources or sort of sabotaging their career.
Absolutely, and that's why the doctor brought up the fact that this is essentially, you're being bullied. And so you have to really just stand up for yourself, and Human Resources is typically the top, right? So definitely take charge and go to Human Resources. Don't be afraid. And hopefully it all works out for you.
Good to know.
I'm sure there's so many people that are dealing with that.
Yeah.
Well told story.
Unfortunately,
yeah.
right?
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Marla.